Hey people, how's it going? This is another therapy session for me, boy. Seeing a lot of stuff going on, not just in, like in general, but in my own life. I got a lot of shit going on. Uh, the last year and a half has been like a major roller coaster for me. About 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, I actually got the best job I've ever had in my life, making the most money I've ever made in my life. And I was actually good at it. Uh, was working a lot of hours. After about 9, 10 months or so, I started having breathing issues because it's extremely hot. I was working at Frito Lay in a warehouse, and in certain parts of the warehouse, it's over 100 degrees, approaching 110 according to the thermometer. Um, but I couldn't breathe. I went to the hospital. Said, "What's going on?" I said, "They see something in my lungs." Now, about 23 years prior to 2018, 2019, I worked in the stone industry. I used to work in a stone quarry, splitting and cutting natural bluestone for steps and patios, and flagstone is another word for it. A lot of dust that contains silica, and that gave me silicosis, which I didn't know until I couldn't breathe at Frito Lay. Um, I'm going on 48. At the time, I was 46 when I found this out. Uh, did a lot of research on it. Somebody my age. I also smoked cigarettes for a long time. I quit smoking cigarettes about 10 years prior to this diagnosis. But when they diagnosed me with silicosis, I kind of I couldn't breathe at my job, and you can't just move to another job in Frito Lay. It's not union this facility anyway, but it works like one. It works on seniority, and if there's no openings, they can't just give you another job. So I had to quit. Right? I had to quit. I had a lot of money. I had quite a bit of money in the bank. Well, for me, it's quite a bit of money. 6,000 might not count like a whole sound like a whole lot of money, but for me, it was. So I had enough money to, all right, I'll find something else, something that I can handle doing. And I started going to a lot. I went through a lot of jobs, if I could find any. First off, now my age was hurting me trying to get another job, and how much money I made at Frito Lay was also hurting me because that's the first thing everybody asked when they called me. Why would you leave there? I can't tell them I have a respiratory illness that through my research is I have 20 years max. Um, and the last 5 or 10, most likely the last five are going to be pretty bad. Uh, so there's a lot of shit I'm not going to put up with, right? And believe it or not, nope, you can't get disability. They don't see it as it's not prohibiting my ability to work right now. But it is, however, prohibiting what I can do. But because of all of the milkers in the past, that I know tons of people on disability that work cash jobs and they're living a fucking high life. And on paper, they only get the disability. And most of them are girls. It's like fucking ridiculous. But anyway, so I'm gonna die in like maybe 20 years, probably sooner, and it's gonna suck. I'm gonna suffocate. There's no cure. There's no treatment, and no, you just can't go get a lung transplant like everybody says. You got to be rich for that, man. And especially since I smoked for 20 some odd years, I wouldn't do that. I shouldn't because my situation's worse because I did smoke. My own personal choice, by the way, just like it was a personal choice to do stone. When I started cutting stone, there wasn't a big safety issue. It was more about don't get hit with the machinery and don't drop the big stones on yourself. If some were so big that, yes, they would fucking kill you. So there wasn't a whole lot about the dust. They would tell you about it real quick. And this is pre-internet, people. Because the first thing a lot of you do is, what, didn't you research it yourself? What, at the library? Yeah, there was no internet in the early 90s everywhere. Now I'm in a small town area now. You really didn't have internet up here until probably 95, 96. And even then, it was still very limited. But, and it might even been later than that. There's still areas up here that don't have internet service. Anyway, that's going to kill me in like 20 years, so I don't put up with so much at work anymore. And I understand that people aren't going to, I'm not expecting anybody to go out of their way to do anything extra for me. I just want common courtesy. I want common respect from my fellow people, and I don't seem to be seeing it, right? I took an easy job, a lot less money, because I have to do what I have to do. I can't sit back and be one of those people who's going to point my finger at society or the government. They should be taking care of me, because I've paid in for all this stuff for all my life, and now it's coming back to haunt me, but they don't want to. My tax dollars are better spent on immigrants. That's just the way things are going, especially living like New York State, which is where I just left. So I had to take a job that's a lot less paying, literally half of what I was making at Frito-Lay a couple years ago. And I got people here, they're chewing tobacco while they're working on the dough. We're inside a facility supposed to be tobacco free. There's a couple of kids who do vape marijuana while they're working. Don't get me wrong, I'm not anti-marijuana. I'm anti-marijuana at work. So that whole thing, this is the stuff that I know you got to see stuff everywhere you work, right? But my rights are being violated. I have a right to a tobacco-free work environment like everybody else does. My rights have been violated a long time ago. Am I just supposed to sit down, lay down, and not do anything about it? Because I started being more concerned about my rights than I am about my well-being. What I mean is, I just left Binghamton, New York yesterday morning because I was living in Binghamton's a fucking shithole, man. There's so many fucking gangbangers from Brooklyn and shit. It's a city of 50,000, but you'd think it was a block in New York City. It's just fucking horrible. And the Broome County only cares about the college kids because they bring all the money in. And you literally go from the middle of Binghamton, where they just put like $15 million into the downtown area, 2 blocks across the river, it's ghetto. Like where the high school is, right? The high school kids come out of their fucking high school and they built the welfare office right across the street. I'm seeing this shit, man. I don't want to see it anymore. Everybody's out there, they're protest this, protest that. You're evil, that person's evil, everybody's evil. You don't like the same things I like, so I have to start a riot over it. In my own life, I'm just trying to work. Maybe get to some few years of retirement. I didn't bury my mom, but my mom died in January. She never really did much work, but the husband that she was with for like 20 some odd years prior died 5 years ago. She didn't make it 5 years after he died. Then my mom died. That doesn't, and she was only 68. Now, my mom was mostly healthy except for smoking. She didn't drink, she didn't do drugs, but there's a lot of shit that runs in on that side of my family, and I already have the silicosis, high blood pressure, bipolar disorder. I have beginning stages of renal failure from all my drinking, my own personal choice. Right? I'm not sitting here. People say, "Oh, you're whining about it." No, I'm telling you what's going on, and I'm admitting that it's my own fucking fault. Which is what you're not seeing in our society anymore. Now it's, oh, you go commit a crime because somehow it's society's fault. You're too fucking lazy to work. It's like with the homeless people and everything else. I'm currently homeless at my storage unit because I got into an argument with a friend of mine. I thought, that we were going to be cool. I thought she was going to, we were just going to be friends and I was going to stay there for a few weeks. Nope. Didn't make it. I just did first night I spent there last night. This morning she started going on about her ex-boyfriend and her kid, and I understand, but it's like she doesn't seem to understand that that's all she fucking talks about. I have my own shit going on. I don't want to fucking hear it. So we got into it. I just said, you know what? I grabbed my clothes and I fucking left. Because I don't want to deal with shit. I am fucking dying, for crying out loud. Right? We're all dying, I know. But when you find out how you're going to fucking go, that fucking sucks. And then when you have no family and you find out you're really all alone, it makes you want to blow your fucking brains out, honestly. Now I'm bipolar. Like I said, bipolar, silicosis, renal failure, high blood pressure, anxiety. There's all of this shit going on. And this is like the only thing that really helps, but not completely, because it's bad for my blood pressure. So I just watch everybody and all your petty dumb shit as you chase the next iPhone, as you use your iPhone that's made by Chinese slaves like 30 days ago to complain about American slavery 170 years ago. You see the confliction there? Um, there's just a lot of dumb shit going on in our fucking society, and like nobody, you acknowledge it, but like you just keep fucking doing it. All the technology's taking all the fucking jobs away, and then you're bitching about migrants that want to come up here and work to do those menial jobs that you no longer want to do. Come on, man, what the fuck is going on? I just, Republican want to fight against Democrat all the time. Liberal, conservative. I mean, come on, man. Old versus young, black versus white, rich versus poor. This shit is fucking old. You know, everybody thinks that what's going on, you know, we're at an unprecedented era. And you're right. We're teetering on the brink of nuclear war. We're getting ready to basically, we're willing to slice our neighbor's throat because they do or do not like Trump. Really? All this freedom, and this is what we're fucking doing with it? We, the people, are the ones ruining this fucking country. Okay? We choose to divide ourselves amongst age, disability, race, sex, orientation. We choose to do it, and then we say, but it's not my fault I think this way. Why? You're choosing to think that way. You know, people just don't, I don't understand how racism could exist. Oh, really? You hate white people so much? You're racist. You know, most of the world is not living in any form of reality at all. You seem to be living in some kind of dream world where somehow you think if we just keep coddling and making excuses and giving people crutches to lean on, that somehow that's going to make it all better. Demonize technology, yet keep fucking using it. If people say, well, you don't have a choice. Yes, you do. You always have a choice. You just have to live with the consequences of said choice. Half the world does not have a fucking smartphone. They've managed to make it this far. You can't say it can't be done. Right? 12 years ago, we did it. You know, the more you keep pushing all this shit, like everybody in your fucking Teslas, you know, they've already told you that it causes about 20 years worth of pollution just to make the fucking thing. So, and using the car does not offset that 20 years because it probably ain't going to fucking last that long. And then you got the energy that you got to produce somehow to charge the fucking thing that none of yous are fucking thinking about. All the chemicals that come from the batteries are being done, guess what? By fucking slaves, assholes. You buy a Tesla, you basically support fucking slavery. It's like blood diamonds and all the rest of that shit. iPhones? Yeah, Samsung has some fucking horrific stories too, but I haven't seen anything about suicide nets like there are around the fucking iPhone factories in China. None of yous fucking care. You'll bitch about, and you don't even know anybody who's been a slave, who even has a grandparent or a great grandparent that fucking was a slave. Why the fuck are you still fighting about it? See how fucking dumb it sounds now? You can't make up for it. I saw illegals in Binghamton, New York. That's why I left liberal New York State already. In upstate, not here 48 hours and already have a job. And they don't even speak English. Now, I'm not on the English thing right there because English, America has no national language. right? So all the people who say you have to speak English, no, you don't. When you go to Italy, do you speak Italian? You know, all those people that love to go to Mexico and hardly any of them speak any Spanish outside of taco and gracias. You know, I'm like, come on, man. This is everybody's fucking hypocrites. Now, I'm not saying I haven't been. You know what though? But I've realized I have been, and I've realized the mistakes I fucking made, and I feel a lot better fessing up to it. Um, but it also made me change. But it made me realize how most of yous are. The most of the people that think they're not racist, like a lot of the white liberals, you're totally fucking racist against your own people. You know what I'm saying? It's like, like all the white girls that only date black guys. You know, you fucking hate your own so bad. You hate your father. This is fucking stupid. You know what is if you don't date your own? I think that's more racist than not dating outside your own, because that means you hate your own kind. So that's I guess that's up to opinion, but that's my opinion. I think not dating your own makes you like Hitler. I think not dating outside your race makes you like Trump. There's a big difference there. Some of you don't see it that way, and I'm not really a Trump supporter. I grew up in Jersey. The guy's a fucking moron, right? He needed to learn to keep his mouth shut, and he just never did. And you guys all fed his ego. Why do you think his head is so fucking big, right? And I'm sure as hell not Democrat. Fuck Biden. You know, I was all for Obama at first. You know, I was all for. I even cried watching his inauguration, like most people didn't want to admit it, because it was a very important time. But you want to know what? Just because you changed the color of the person in the White House, nothing changed. You're still at your neighbor's throat. He's still at yours. You're still hating on somebody because they have a nicer car and a nicer life than you do, and they're still hating you. You're still hating the fact that some people have disabilities. What the fuck is going on here? I've seen this shit. If I swear to God, if I ever actually witness this shit again, male or female, I'm fucking punching you. But I saw like a 22-year-old fucking girl yelling at a person that had their Down syndrome kid out in public, saying they should be ashamed. They should keep that fucking kid locked up. He should have been aborted. Mm-hmm. Younger generation. This is why I don't want to be part of society anymore. I hate the fact that all other races other than white people are allowed to band together and be proud of it. I hate the fact that most of Americans seem to think that the rich owe them something. They don't. It's, you know, there's so many opportunities these days. I know I failed to take a lot of them myself. I failed to take them all. Right? You only miss the opportunities you fail to take. I admit. It's not the government's fault to support me. It's not the government's fucking responsibility or society's responsibility to make sure I feel comfortable. That's my job. And if my way to feel comfortable is to be quite honest, I'm at the point where I'm going to go build a fucking cabin in the woods, and that's where I'm going to live out my years. By myself. Because you people fucking suck, man. You know, a lot of you think that, you know, the younger generation only cares about the younger generation, and they seem to forget they're going to be old at one point. A lot of the older generation has become lazier than the younger generation they say is lazy. They just want easier work, man. Like nobody wants to sit down at a table and have a conversation. You know? This is what's wrong, not just in this country, but on this fucking planet. You know? Fucking Vladimir Putin and fucking not Joe Biden. He's already loopy enough. You know, and what's Xi, China, and all the rest of the world leaders, man. Take a few tokes. Sit the fuck down and hash it the fuck out. The same thing with the fucking Black Lives Matter and the fucking skinheads. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ, man. I'm so aren't you people just tired of it yet? You know, I keep hearing the same argument all the time. And it's becoming arrogance, American arrogance about how we killed off the Native Americans, took their land, and a lot of Americans are beating their chest about that. Where the fuck do you get off? Yet you're the same people who fucking, oh, somebody's bullying my child in high school. Same shit, isn't it? Oh, and the Native Americans couldn't band together and fight us off? Yet you hate your neighbor for dumb reasons? Can't band together to fight anybody off? See where I'm going here, people? We're the ones killing America. You know why? Because we're not united. We're too concerned about ourselves, our own personal convenience. But goddamn it, don't get in my fucking way. I shouldn't have to deal with you because that hurts my feelings. This is where we're headed. It's not good. So, you want to bitch that there's no jobs? And then you keep pushing drones to fucking deliver your taco? That's kind of your own fucking fault. Right? You bitch that there's no jobs, yet you go to school to be a video game designer when there's already 3 billion of them on the planet? Not a very good career choice now, is it there, fucking moron? Like your liberal arts majors and all that shit. The fuck you gonna do with that? Right? It's your choices. You're choosing to take a fucking field that you know you can't get a job in, but it sounds cool. That's the point. Now you're crying that you got to pay for that education and you think it should be free? Why, when you're not even using the fucking thing? And somehow you think the older generation had it better? Really? We didn't have free education. When I was a kid, we had no education. Only way you were going to school is if you could pay for it or get a scholarship. No grants to everybody, no state free education. And sure as hell no fucking wiping out of debt. And you couldn't stay on your parents' insurance till you were 18. You could be still fucking drafted after you turned 18 years old. You did not have credit. Let me see what else. You didn't have the internet. I still don't understand what you kids think, what kind of advantages the older people had over you. And this idea that you could support a family of 4 on minimum wage, I'm sorry, Google's fucking lying to you. I don't know where people got this information that in the 1990s you could support a family of 4 on $5 an hour. I don't know where this came from. But I've actually heard kids fucking say it. Well, even if that was the case, back in the 90s, people would have not bought a BMW. They would have bought maybe a used Honda instead. You see the difference? They would have not been stopping at Starbucks every day for that $7 cup of coffee and that $15 pack of cigarettes and then bitch how you can't afford anything. This is the choices you make. It's fucking getting ridiculous, man. Same thing with the heroin addicts. They chose to do heroin. Fuck them. Let them go. They don't want to be here anyway. Now, God forbid people actually, take self-responsibility. No, nobody's holding you back. No inner city people are being held back anymore. That's all bullshit. It's all a fucking excuse. You guys keep making your excuses. I ain't going to be around much longer to fucking hear it. And I'm sure you're just as happy to get rid of me as I am to get rid of you.